Pardon the dysfunction, but I'm Jack Hirsh. Matt, did you know today was National Sloppy Joe Day?
I'm Matt Freiler, and no, I didn't know that, but that's middle school lunch. Disgusting. Get it off my plate.
So you don't like any kind of beef sandwich with barbecue? Is that what you're saying?
I can live with the sandwich.
You
Don't
can
call
live-
it a sloppy Joe.
Well, what's wrong with a sloppy Joe?
That's middle school lunch. It's disgusting.
Well, I mean, I've never had a sloppy Joe at like an outing or some, outdoor event or something like
Because
that.
it's sloppy. You don't want to get it all over your clothes. Come on.
All right, I'll buy
National
that.
Sloppy Joe.
I just love brisket sandwiches with barbecue sauce.
Welcome, boys and girls. In today's episode, Penn State baseball on a tear. Rory McIlroy back on top after winning the Players' Championship. And Johnny Football has returned to the States to spin that magic bean.
But we begin today with the 68-team NCAA tournament field being announced. Duke received the top overall seed with North Carolina, Virginia, and Gonzaga rounding out the top line. However, the game that went final just before the selection show saw Michigan State beat Michigan to win the Big Ten title, leaving many confused as to why Sparty would be the 2 seed in Duke's region. Michigan State is one of 8 teams from the Big Ten, which is the most bids the conference has ever received. Matt, do you think Sparty was snubbed from the top line?
Absolutely. This might be one of the biggest snubs from the 1 seed in NCAA tournament history. Michigan State went out, beat Michigan 3 times, wrapped it up with a Big Ten championship. And what happens? They have to go through Duke now in order to make the Final Four?
Yeah,
Duke, the top overall seed, Duke?
Yeah, I don't think it's totally fair for them.
And on the other side, Michigan gets rewarded. They get Gonzaga, who's obviously the weakest 1 seed, lost to St. Mary's in the WCC final. So I just don't understand that one at all.
Yeah.
Well, Rory McIlroy got back in the winner's circle this weekend, shooting a final round 70 to win the Players' Championship. McIlroy hadn't won on the PGA Tour in 12 months and last won a major in 2014, but came to the Tour's flagship event in great form, having finished top 6 or better in his first 5 tournaments of the year. So, Jack, does this win put McIlroy's career back on track, and do you think he'll add to his 4 major titles in the near future?
So if you look at players who have won 4 majors before the age of 30, which he turns in 2 months in May, they are Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Seve Ballesteros, Bobby Jones, Gary Player, Walter Hagen, and McIlroy. That's really, really good company. Yeah. He hasn't won a major since 2014, and the only major he doesn't have is Augusta and the Masters, and we all know he had that 4-shot lead that he blew in 2011. Yeah. So I think this is really good for him to win the so-called 5th major, but we'll see how it impacts his career. I think he's got to win the Masters.
Yeah, he's been out of the headlines for a while. It's good to see Rory McIlroy back in it.
Yeah. Well, also back in it is Johnny Manziel back on a football field near you, this time in his home country. After being tossed out of the CFL for breaking terms of his contract, the 26-year-old former Heisman winner signed a deal with the Memphis Express, putting him on another really bad team. Other QBs on the Memphis roster include Zach Mettenberg and everybody's worst nightmare, Christian Hackenberg, who have both split time starting. Matt, will Johnny Manziel ever make his way back to the NFL?
Money Manziel's coming back. This is the first stepping stone.
You really think that's possible?
And you know why the CFL ended that deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to speculate, but that's a no-compete clause. So now he's back in the States. He was talking to the AAF. This is a stepping stone. He's in the AAF this year, XFL next year. Right back to the NFL. Johnny Manziel's going to be a future Super Bowl champion.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Penn State baseball completed a sweep of UMass Lowell on Sunday thanks to a walk-off RBI single by freshman Ryan Ford in the 10th inning. The win pushes the Nittany Lions to a record of 13-3, which is actually their best start since 1980. It was a disastrous season last year. The program went just 3-21 in the Big Ten. Jack, are you buying that Penn State is now a baseball school, the Diamond Lions?
3 words. Regression to the mean. This team lost a lot of pitching last year, and this year so far they've won a lot of close games, won a lot of one-run games, but those were all against really bad teams. Of course, they got UCF, which is a good win. Duke is a good win, but yeah, I really don't see this team doing very much. They're going to start conference play last week, as we already talked about their record. One good thing for them, Dante Biasi, brother of Sal Biasi, 2-1 so far this year with a 1.0 WHIP and a 2.57 ERA. So, no, this is not a baseball school.
It won't do much for him in the Big Ten.
No.
I think that the softball team is the team that we got to watch for in the Big Ten. Watch out for those Nittany Lions. Happy times now. Happy birthday to NBA legend Brian Scalabrine, former superstar better known as the White Mamba. Won a championship with Boston back in 2008 before finishing his career with the Chicago Bulls. He's the ultimate fan favorite, now working as an analyst on Celtics broadcast. Jack Brian Scalabrine, a guy you want at your wedding.
Absolutely. He's definitely the most memeable player in the NBA.
Veal.
All right, happy anniversary to Michael Jordan. On this date in 1995, Jordan sent a 2-word press release that said, quote, "I'm back," end quote, announcing his first NBA comeback with the Chicago Bulls after retiring a year and a half earlier. Fresh out of baseball, Jordan suited up the next day and scored 19 points against the Indiana Pacers. It was the highest-rated regular season NBA game since 1975. Starting the next season in 1995-96, Jordan and the Bulls won 3 straight NBA titles for the second time in his career. The 95-96 team, which went 72-10 in the regular season, was considered one of the greatest of all time. Matt, was that one of the greatest and most boss press releases of all time?
It was. Say more by saying little, as they will say.
Yeah,
and you know what? LeBron can never do it. Well, happy trails to Penn State basketball. In the same week that the Lady Lions parted ways with head coach Coquise Washington, the men's basketball team was one and done against Minnesota in the Big Ten tournament. And even worse, no NIT bid for the Nittany Lions.
No CBI bid.
Nothing.
That's the one I'm really
They're not even
about.
paying to get into a tournament at this point.
No. All right. Okay, time for a large finish. Let's go. Penn State hockey playing in the Big Ten championship game. Do they have a shot against Notre Dame?
Absolutely. He's had 9 goals against Notre Dame earlier in the year, make it 10 this time around. Mike Francesa on his app had a caller about Penn State wrestling. He hung up on him, didn't even say a word to respond to him yet.
You can't hang up on a dynasty. They've won 7 of the last 8 national titles. Russell Westbrook gets his 16th technical foul, and he will be suspended Monday night against the Heat. Matt, would you ever want to be on the same team as Brody?
No, but that Jazz fan can't come back even to the Salt Lake City regional games in the NCAA tournament. LeBron with a historically worst quarter, 4 for 15 in the fourth. He was awful. The Knicks were all over him. I mean, he's just bad.
The Knicks? You're going to do something about the Knicks. I can't believe you're going to play that badly against the Knicks. All right, that's all for us. We'll see you next time. Have a good one, knuckleheads.
It's a turkey flag. Who gave me the turkey flag? Get it out of here. It should have been a U.S. flag.